Hello, friends. Okay, so for our midweek post, I'm going to just talk a little bit about how codependency is such a disservice to us, to humans, in a way of connection and relating with each other. I was just thinking about it a little bit today, how my patterns in the past have, you know, unconsciously created these rifts and tension in my friendships and different relationships. I mean, truly without me having any awareness that I was contributing to it. One of the big indicators of codependency is that it's so easy to look at the other person and say, it's them. If they would only just fix this one thing or these two things, or if they could just see my perspective or see that I'm right, then everything would be better. It would be so much easier to connect and build intimacy and things like that. And what I didn't realize was that by, first of all, self-rejecting, so not truly saying what I want or need in the relationship to feel safe or loved, what happens when you don't do that is that you unconsciously create a shift in the health of the relationship. And so from that point on, that person, no matter how hard they try, no matter how many boxes they jump into and fit perfectly into, it's never going to work. It's never going to meet your expectations or make you feel loved or fulfilled or happy or whatever, because you've already self-abandoned. You already said, I couldn't articulate what I wanted or needed, and so I'm just going to leave that job up to you, and then get really frustrated when you keep not getting it, and then you're not listening to when I tell you to behave a certain way or act differently. You're not doing it, and so that's really frustrating, and it creates resentment, and it is such a disservice to your relationship and your ability to connect. And so if we can try to switch gears, it's really difficult at first, but once you do it once and you truly can step back and see your relationship from a different perspective, which the only way to do that is by getting centered within yourself and really listening to your inner voice and doing that shadow work and looking at your own shit. So once you've done that and you're able to come into a view of the relationship kind of from this outside perspective and say, okay, I see myself in you. I see my codependent tendency here to make that switch or whatever, then you can adjust your behavior. And this is how you reprogram. Like, practically speaking, this is how you get down to the nitty-gritty. You have to step back and say, what's truly my responsibility here to them and to myself, and then act accordingly, move accordingly towards that person. And so there are so many different ways this can look, but I'll just give you a quick example. So, a lot of times in relationships, it's like, the communication is here, right? So we think we're saying, I need to be appreciated. I need you to acknowledge me. I need more attention, whatever it is. And the other person is, no, like, everything's fine. I'm fine, so why aren't you fine in the relationship? I feel fine the way things are. And I see that maybe you need more, but like, that's not really my style. I don't really do that. So what is there to be done? And that seems like a standstill, right? Like, what can you possibly do when that's where your communication is? And something I would say to try in that moment is say, okay, that person is clearly not able to hold space for me, so I'm going to go and hold space for myself and really get down to, I call this going full circle from that first trigger of like, I need something more, to talking to inner self, really connecting and figuring out what you truly what that first trigger is, like what from the past that is bringing up, and your natural reaction is to protect yourself from being hurt again. Go there and then view your current relationship clearly and not project that first trigger or feeling of rejection or abandonment or whatever it is onto your person right now, and say, okay, what do I need from my person? Like what would truly make me feel loved? If that person could just look around sometimes and use words of affirmation and tell me what they see me doing and me, how I exist in their world to make it better, that would be great. Okay, so we just came 80% of the circle, and then that last 10 or 20% to get to the 100, completing that circle is to go to your person and say, hey, when you didn't acknowledge me in the way that I was needing or hoping, which I have not clearly communicated to you before, it did trigger something in me from my past. I do recognize that that's not you currently wounding me, but I wanted to bring it to your attention because this is what's happening inside of me, and I'd love if you would help me heal here. And what I could really use from you is some more words of affirmation and just acknowledgement of things that you like that I do in our world, in our home, or in our relationship, and in our conversation. So, moving forward, is that something that you could do and we could work together on to help me calm my nervous system when I'm triggered? You just brought it full circle. You just opened up a totally different way of communicating. So try that. Think about the current situation you might be in now with a friend or parent or whatever, and see how you can go full circle, taking responsibility for your own side of stuff and viewing your partner, witnessing their experience through this situation, figuring out what you need, and then communicating effectively, calmly, in a safe space where it's not attacking or judging or accusing, but really just a soft space of, I'm inviting you in here to help me heal in a place that I've been wounded before. So I'm going to leave it at that. I've been going on and on, but stay tuned for more on Connection this Friday, and then next week I'm going to dive into a little bit different topics. So hope you guys have a great week and practice this stuff.